Cardinal Tagle is well regarded as an esteemed clergyman. His distinct attributes have earned him significant admiration from many individuals. However, it was recently disclosed that Cardinal Luis was kicked out of the Catholic Church after Pope Francis revealed this. What exactly is this revelation about? Who will succeed as the next pope? Is the expulsion final? Join us in this video as we delve into the details. Pope Francis kicks out Cardinal Luis Tagle. Pope Francis dismissed the entire leadership of Caritas Internationalis, including its president, Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, and then appointed a temporary administrator after external experts identified deficiencies in management and procedures. This unexpected decision, revealed through a Vatican statement, ousted the Federation's leadership, which oversees 162 Catholic relief, development, and social organizations operating in 200 countries. Although Tagle held the position of CI president, he was not involved in its daily operations. Pier Francesco Pinelli, a former executive in renewable energy and Bain consultant with Jesuit training, became the new overseer of preparations for the next General Assembly that would take place in May 2023, during which the Federation would elect a new president, general secretary, and treasurer. The removal of Cardinal Luis and the Caritas Internationalis leadership followed an independent evaluation of its workplace environment, undertaken by a team of experts commissioned by the Vatican's Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development. Although there was no proof of sexual impropriety or financial wrongdoing, the study did identify other serious problems that needed immediate addressing. The experts identified serious flaws in management and procedures that undermine teamwork and employee morale. On the contrary, it said the move was intended to enhance their effectiveness. Pope Francis emphasized the importance of Caritas Internationalis in supporting his mission to assist the poorest and most vulnerable, but acknowledged the need to revise its regulatory framework, hence the decommissioning of Cardinal Luis and his administrative team. According to the organization's 2020 annual report, Caritas Internationalis generated over €5 million in income, with nearly half coming from membership fees and contributions by member organizations, while the rest came from external donors. The Vatican confirmed that financial matters had been competently managed and fundraising objectives consistently met, but it stressed the need to enhance management standards and procedures for future operations. Cardinal Luis also spoke on the decision in a handover conference to the new administration in Rome. He said, "I want to assure you emphatically that this is not," the Cardinal reiterated 3 times, "about sexual harassment or abuse. Nor is it about mismanagement of finances. The decree makes its purpose abundantly clear." Cardinal Tagle expressed gratitude to Secretary General Aloysius John, who was absent from the gathering, as well as to the members of the Executive Council and the entire leadership team who, due to the papal directive, are no longer in office. This, the Cardinal remarked, is a call to walk humbly with God, to engage in a process of discernment, to confront our areas of unfreedom, and to embrace the spirit of liberation. It is also an invitation to walk together, appreciating the diverse cultural expressions of humanity. He also spoke about the growing challenges faced by Caritas in its mission to serve the poor and marginalized worldwide. For this reason, the Cardinal stated, the decree emphasizes the hope that the Secretariat will be equipped to assist all members and function in alignment with best practices and the values of the Gospel. There's no denying that Cardinal Luis is both a humble and kind-hearted priest. But how did Cardinal Luis rise to become such a highly regarded clergyman? Stay tuned to learn more. The call to priesthood of Luis Antonio Tagle. When growing up in Manila's bustling streets, one is surrounded by a very clear, lively, and always active city life. From these busy streets, a young child named Luis Antonio Tagle embarked on an amazing journey that would lead him from the communities of the Philippines to the gates of the Vatican itself. Tagle's childhood was characterized by modesty, devotion, and a closely knit community deeply rooted in faith. Despite their humble means, his family's strong religious beliefs instilled in him a profound sense of purpose and direction during his formative years. Even as a child, Tagle's charismatic nature and innate leadership qualities were unmistakable. Luis Tagle's stellar academic record won him the respect and affection of his teachers and peers. His success was not solely due to his intelligence or grace, but also to his deep understanding and genuine compassion. Desire to assist others. The young Tagle was always willing to provide a hand, whether it was to a neighbor in need or to labor voluntarily at his local parish. His priesthood would later be built on these concepts of connection and community. Interestingly, Teigel at first didn't have any plans to become a priest. Early on, he wanted to become a doctor because he thought it would provide him the opportunity to help people directly. But life had other plans for him, as did what he frequently refers to as God's light-hearted sense of humor. In an ironic turn of events that he narrates with comedy, Teigel was persuaded to think about attending seminary, a choice that would ultimately lead him to a much higher goal. Teigel started his official education at the esteemed Ateneo de Manila University in the late 1970s, where he studied theology and philosophy. Under the mentorship of the Jesuits, he earned both a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in theology. His time at the university was instrumental in grounding him in the intellectual traditions of the Church and nurturing his passion for service and social justice. The Jesuits, renowned for their rigorous academic standards and dedication to social reform, deeply influenced Teigel's worldview, reinforcing his understanding of faith as an inseparable part of the struggles and challenges faced by ordinary people. In 1982, following his ordination as a priest, Teigel was appointed as a spiritual director and professor at the local seminary. He placed more importance on building and growing deep relationships with people over following tradition very seriously, even as a novice priest. The root of Teigel's ministry was his steadfast commitment to helping people, supporting them through their hardships, and creating an atmosphere where people felt appreciated and understood. Pope John Paul II named Teigel Bishop of Imus in 2001. However, it was in 2011, when Pope Benedict XVI elevated him to the office of Archbishop of Manila, that Teigel began to leave an indelible impression on the Church. His way of leadership, marked by compassion tempered with firmness, focused on meeting the pastoral needs of his community. This was a focus that resonated far beyond his local area of influence. Teigel was a well-known figure in the Catholic Church because of his excellent interpersonal skills, deep theological understanding, and commitment to social justice, whether in his role as Archbishop of Manila, his work with Caritas Internationalis, or his attendance at Vatican synods. Teigel's journey is a monument to faith, vision, and an unwavering commitment to helping others, from the bustling streets of Manila to the magnificent gates of the Vatican. What began as a simple desire to uplift his community evolved into a lifelong mission of service to the Church and the world. His story continues to inspire countless individuals, demonstrating how humility and compassion can transform lives on a global scale. The path Cardinal Luis Antonio Teigel took toward priesthood is both remarkable and widely esteemed. But what transpired following his removal as the head of Caritas Internationalis? Let's uncover the details. Luis Antonio Teigel's important position at the Vatican. A closer examination of the events reveals a narrative that contradicts the assumption that Cardinal Teigel was the primary target of the leadership overhaul at Caritas Internationalis. In reality, evidence allegedly suggests that it was Cardinal Teigel himself who may have initiated the performance audit as part of preparations for the election of his successor in mid-2023. Having first assumed the presidency in 2015, his second term as president of Caritas Internationalis concludes in 2023. First of all, if Cardinal Teigel were being fired, he probably wouldn't have had to present the papal decree announcing his own dismissal at the organization's plenary session. Instead, the Pope assigned him, as the President Emeritus of Caritas Internationalis, the difficult task of revealing the results of the audit and announcing the Pope's order for a complete reorganization of the leadership, with the incumbent Secretary General, Aloysius John, being the most important person impacted by this restructuring and conspicuously absent from the meeting. Secondly, the leadership overhaul required the entire Secretariat to vacate their positions, paving the way for interim administrator Pier Francesco Pinelli and his team, who conducted the audit. A new president, officially replacing Cardinal Teigel, was to be chosen at the organization's General Assembly scheduled for 2023. In the interim, Pope Francis has tasked Cardinal Teigel with assisting Pinelli in facilitating the transition. Cardinal Teigel is also expected to devote a great deal of attention to his duties as pro-prefect for the section of evangelization within the Dicastery for Evangelization, a position he has held since June 2022, in addition to the many other positions he already does within the Roman Curia. The Pope himself is directly in charge of this particular dicastery. It's crucial to note that the young Filipino cardinal, often dubbed as the Asian Francis, because of his progressive views similar to those of Pope Francis, was raised to the coveted status of cardinal bishop. With this appointment, he became the first Filipino to bear this honor and joined an exclusive group of 11 senior cardinals. Luis Antonio Tagel's distinct approach to leadership undeniably showcases the characteristics and attributes befitting a Catholic pope. Nevertheless, taking on the role of a pope comes with significant obligations. But what exactly does it entail to hold the position of a pope? Let's explore further. The role of the popes of the Catholic Church. The Pope is one of the most significant and powerful figures in the world, serving as the spiritual leader of more than 1.3 billion Catholics. He is not only the head of the Catholic Church but also a universally acknowledged representation of continuity, hope, and solidarity that is deeply ingrained in both history and culture. The Pope acts as both a bridge to the past and a beacon for the future. The Pope serves as a lighthouse for the future as well as a link to the past. The Pope is recognized as having significant spiritual influence and acting as Christ's earthly representation in his role as Vicar of Christ. In his role as temporal leader, the Pope also has to handle the many problems that contemporary society faces. The Pope has a wide range of important responsibilities, such as spiritual leadership, diplomatic relations, and moral counseling. He sets the doctrinal foundations and pastoral objectives for the whole Church in his capacity as the highest authority on Catholic theology. He provides lucid insights on matters of faith and teaching in his apostolic letters, encyclicals, and homilies. He established the Church, and his views have impacted more general discussions of morality and ethics. Outside of the Church, the Pope serves as a diplomat and a unifying factor to advance peace and understanding around the world. The Vatican has formal diplomatic relations with around 180 nations, which puts the Pope in a unique position to address global issues, settle conflicts, and defend the rights of the poor. In addition to his spiritual and diplomatic responsibilities, the Pope regularly speaks out on global concerns including poverty, human rights, and climate change. Beyond the confines of the Catholic Church, his moral influence inspires citizens and world leaders to work toward the welfare of all. Catholics view the position of Pope as a divine calling, with the Holy Spirit guiding the selection process. This guarantees that the leadership of the Church continues to be in accordance with God's will. The papal office is elevated well above the ordinary by this spiritual component, which gives it a deep sense of sacredness and purpose. Pope Francis, whose real name is Jorge Mario Bergoglio, is the present head of the Catholic Church and one of the most creative and inspirational leaders of our day. Pope Francis enthralled the world with his sincere compassion, deep humility, and progressive vision as soon as he assumed office. His focus on creating a church that values helping the most vulnerable members of society has been revolutionary. He has committed himself to reinventing the Catholic Church as a haven of inclusivity and mercy, departing from long-standing customs. Pope Francis is frequently described as having a pastoral pontificate, prioritizing empathy and understanding over formal power. His reputation as a worldwide moral leader in a sharply divided world continues to grow. A divided world has been cemented by the tremendous acclaim he has received for this strategy, which goes well beyond the Catholic faithful. His steadfast dedication to humility, which still defines his papal mission, is arguably the most impressive feature of his leadership. There have been rumors that Pope Francis has decided to resign from his position due to persistent health issues. This makes people curious about the rumors that are going around. Could Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagel potentially become the next successor to Pope Francis? Stay tuned to uncover the answer. The speculation surrounding Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagel as the next pope. Pope Francis has consistently maintained these beliefs throughout his life and ministry, and Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagel is a prime example of many of them. At a pivotal moment in its history, the Church is juggling internal problems with a world that is growing increasingly secular. The question of whether Pope Francis could secretly encourage or provide the groundwork for Cardinal Tagel to succeed him is a topic of widespread conjecture amid these disputes. Like Francis, Tagel is admired for his pastoral warmth, which resonates deeply with the faithful. He is also known for his charm, profound spirituality, and ability to engage with people from a variety of backgrounds. In the past, European rulers held the papacy for centuries. That tradition was broken by Pope Francis, the first Latin American to hold the office, signaling a turn toward the global south, where the Catholic Church is still growing at an impressive rate. Leading this dramatic expansion is the Philippines, which is home to more than 80 million Catholics. Cardinal Tagle is an Asian leader who embodies the Church's goals in an area where it seeks to increase its power. His appointment as Pope would usher in a new era of Catholicism that fully embraces its worldwide nature. Pope Francis has worked tirelessly to reform the Church, tackling problems like financial responsibility and clerical abuse while advocating for synodality, a cooperative form of church government. Cardinal Tagle, the influential prefect of the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples, has always supported Francis's perspective. His attempts to foster communication among bishops and his commitment to social justice are powerful examples of the principles that Pope Francis upholds. By supporting Cardinal Tagle, Pope Francis would be laying the groundwork for his initiatives to thrive and endure beyond his pontificate. Cardinal Tagle and Pope Francis have a tight relationship characterized by a high level of mutual respect. Pope Francis is reported to have been greatly impressed with Tagle's humility as well as his extraordinary ability to communicate complex theological ideas in an interesting and approachable way. Cardinal Tagle is ideally positioned to carry on Francis's legacy and guarantee the Church's continuous renewal because of their shared ideals and methods. Pope Francis and Cardinal Tagle have a strong bond, as seen by their shared commitment to helping the underprivileged and disenfranchised. Pope Francis's decision to give Tagle important duties within the Vatican, which greatly improved his reputation abroad, demonstrated their shared dedication and sense of camaraderie. Additionally, Tagle's remarkable communication skills are noteworthy, particularly in the digital age when the Church needs a leader who can connect with both believers and doubters. He is admired not only in the Philippines but also by the Catholic community worldwide for his skill at narrating stories and exceptional emotional intelligence. Tagle is positioned as a powerful and inspirational figure on the global scene thanks to this unique combination of attributes. Although Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle appears to be a strong contender for the papacy, this prospect has not been well received by certain critics, who have pointed out various reasons why he might not be the ideal choice. What are their concerns? Keep watching to find out. Criticism surrounding the speculations of Luis Tagle as next pope. There are several reasons why the College of Cardinals could be reluctant to choose Cardinal Tagle as the next pope. Tagle has a wide range of support globally and highly excellent certifications. Cardinal Tagle's potential inability to assume the role of Chair of St. Peter illustrates the interplay between the Church's political concerns, goals, and established regulations. The College of Cardinals often seeks a change in leadership style with the presence of a newly elected pope, and some may believe that electing another pope who thinks and acts with Francis's approach could extend what critics see as the current pontificate's divisive tendencies. Opponents of Pope Francis's reformist vision may view Tagle as a natural continuation of these plans. This is raising concerns that he might lead the Church further toward what they consider an overly progressive direction or one lacking sufficient doctrinal clarity. Furthermore, detractors would contend that because of Tagle's very short stint at the Vatican, he lacks the substantial institutional expertise necessary to handle the intricacies of the Roman Curia, a crucial skill for any pope. Another level of difficulty is introduced by the Catholic Church's changing demography. Africa and Latin America are gaining the ability to stand out within the Church as a result of the faith's wide growth in these places. Africa in particular is a prime competitor in terms of producing the next pope because of its remarkable growth. A conclave aiming to recognize the Church's growing influence in Africa would consider the election of an Asian pope to be less necessary. Furthermore, Tagle's Filipino ancestry can add geopolitical sensitivity to the situation. With a sizable Catholic population, the Philippines holds a significant but challenging place in world affairs, particularly in light of China's expanding influence. The Vatican may face difficulties navigating its sensitive and complicated relationship with Beijing if a Filipino is elected pope.